Long ago, in the beautiful hills of Israel, lived a woman named Hannah. She was gentle, kind, and deeply cherished by her husband, Elkanah. But despite this love, a shadow followed her. Hannah carried a heavy sadness in her heart because she had no children. In the world she lived in, this wasn't just a personal sorrow. It was a source of deep pain and even shame. Her husband would try to comfort her, saying, "Am I not more to you than 10 sons?" But his words, though kind, couldn't fill the void. Hannah's heart ached for a child she could call her own. Each year, the entire family would make a special journey to Shiloh to worship at the house of the Lord. It was meant to be a time of celebration and gratitude, but for Hannah, it was often a reminder of her emptiness. Peninnah, another wife in the household, would relentlessly mock her, making the sacred festival a time of tears and anguish. The taunts cut so deeply that Hannah would often weep uncontrollably, unable to eat, her spirit completely crushed by the weight of her longing and the cruelty she faced. One year, during the festival in Shiloh, something shifted. After a quiet meal, Hannah couldn't bear the pain any longer. She slipped away by herself to the entrance of the temple. There, she fell to her knees and began to pray as she had never prayed before. Tears streamed down her face as she poured out the deepest anguish of her soul directly to God, silently, her lips moving, but no sound escaping. She made a desperate vow. "Lord Almighty, if you will only look on my misery and remember me, if you will give me a son, then I will give him back to you for all the days of his life." The high priest, Eli, was sitting nearby and saw her. He noticed her moving lips and her emotional state, and he jumped to the wrong conclusion. "How long will you go on getting drunk?" he demanded. "Sober up." But Hannah, with quiet dignity, replied, "Not so, my lord. I am a woman who is deeply troubled. I have not been drinking. I was pouring out my soul to the Lord. Do not take your servant for a wicked woman. I have been praying here out of my great anguish and grief." Seeing her raw honesty and profound sincerity, Eli's heart softened. He realized his mistake and spoke a blessing over her. "Go in peace," he said gently, "and may the God of Israel grant you what you have asked of him." Those words were like a balm to her wounded spirit. Hannah left the temple that day with a new feeling blossoming in her heart: hope. The crushing weight had lifted, and for the first time in a long, long time, her face was no longer downcast. And in the course of time, God remembered Hannah. Her prayer was answered. She conceived and gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. She named him Samuel, which means God has heard. Can you imagine the overwhelming joy that must have flooded her heart? Holding the very child she had begged God for, the living proof that her cries had not been in vain. The years of tears and heartache were washed away in a flood of pure, unfiltered joy. When Samuel was old enough, Hannah did something truly remarkable. She didn't forget the promise she had made in her darkest hour. With a heart full of both profound gratitude and incredible sacrifice, she journeyed back to Shiloh. She brought her precious son to Eli the priest and said, "I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him. So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life he will be given over to the Lord." She kept her vow, dedicating the son she loved so dearly to a life of service in God's house. Hannah's story is so much more than a mother's longing for a child. It's a powerful lesson in faith, vulnerability, and the integrity of keeping our promises. She didn't try to hide her pain or pretend she was okay. She brought her broken heart directly to God with gut-wrenching honesty. And when her prayer was answered, she responded with radical gratitude, giving back the most precious gift she had ever received. And her son, Samuel, grew up to become one of Israel's greatest prophets and judges, a man who would anoint kings and guide the entire nation. It all began because one woman dared to pray with a sincere heart and trusted God with everything she had. Hannah's prayer is a timeless reminder for us today. It shows us that in our moments of deepest struggle and despair, we can be completely honest with God. We don't have to have it all together. And when blessings arrive, they're not just for our own comfort. They have the power to ripple outward, impacting lives and even changing the course of history for generations to come. That is the incredible power of authentic faith and the beautiful legacy of Hannah's prayer for a son. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content that inspires. We'll see you in the next one.